Here's what I'm gonna tell you. If you've ever thought you were handling a breakup fine and then suddenly you're sobbing in your car for no reason, stick with me, because I'm about to tell you the one thing nobody mentions about getting over someone. Look, I need to be real with you right now. 3 months ago, my relationship ended. 5 years together. Just done. And everyone kept telling me the same stuff. Time heals. You'll be okay. Stay busy. Delete his number. Block him on everything. And I did all of that. I really did. I cleaned out my apartment, donated his old sweatshirt that I used to sleep in, changed my morning routine, started going to the gym again. I was doing everything right, you know? So why did I completely fall apart at the grocery store? I was shopping, normal stuff, eggs, bread, whatever. And I turned the corner into the snack aisle and just broke. Started crying so hard I had to leave my cart there. Just left it. Walked straight out to my car and sat there for 20 minutes trying to breathe. You want to know what triggered it? Chips. The kind he always bought. That's it. That's all it took. And that's when I realized something. Nobody tells you this part. Everyone talks about the big moments, the first night alone, boxing up their stuff, changing your relationship status. Sure, those hurt, but you're ready for those, you know? You brace yourself. But nobody warns you about the ambush moments. The random Tuesday afternoon when a song comes on and you have to pull over because you can't see through the tears. The Saturday morning when you're fine, totally fine, and then you see a couple holding hands and boom, you're a mess. The middle of your workday when something reminds you of an inside joke and suddenly you're locked in the bathroom stall trying not to make noise. That's the real truth about getting over someone. It's not this steady upward climb where each day gets a little easier. That's garbage. It's chaos. Some days you're okay. Some days you're actually good. And then out of nowhere, something tiny destroys you. Last week I was at the gas station, just pumping gas, and the car next to me was playing our song. I didn't even know I was still keeping track of what our song was, but apparently my brain was. I sat in my car afterward for 15 minutes, just staring at nothing. The week before that? I was at the gym, doing fine, actually feeling pretty good about myself. And then I caught my reflection in the mirror, and for some reason, that was it. Just seeing myself alone. I had to leave. Went home and cried in the shower. You think you're crazy. You think something's wrong with you. I mean, I'd go 3 days feeling strong and capable, like I was really moving on. And then I'd see a commercial for a restaurant we used to go to, and I'd have to excuse myself from the room. My coworker asked me once if I was okay because I got quiet during a meeting. You know what happened? Someone mentioned going hiking. That's it. Just the word hiking. We used to hike together every weekend. That's all it took for me to check out mentally for the rest of the day. And here's what messes with your head. You can't predict it. You can't prepare. I can watch romantic movies now, totally fine. I can see couples kissing in public. Whatever. Doesn't bother me. But last month I lost it at the car wash. The car wash. Because we used to always get the deluxe wash with the tire shine, and I was standing there looking at the options and it just hit me. I've cried in my car more times than I can count. In parking lots. At red lights. In my driveway before going inside because I didn't want my roommate to see. My car is basically a mobile crying station at this point. I broke down at work twice. Had to lie and say I had allergies. I'm not proud of that, but what are you supposed to say? Sorry, I just remembered he used to make me coffee every morning and now I make my own coffee and that somehow feels like the saddest thing in the world. You start avoiding things without even realizing it. I stopped going to certain streets because we used to drive them together. I switched grocery stores because the old one had too many memories. I changed my route to work. I stopped listening to entire genres of music. Not because the songs remind me of him specifically, but because I don't trust myself anymore. Any song could be a trigger, and people don't get it. They ask how you're doing, and you say fine, because 3 days ago you were fine. You were laughing with friends, enjoying your morning, feeling almost normal. So you believe it. You tell them you're good, you're moving on, you're okay. And then that afternoon you're crying in the Target bathroom because you saw his favorite candy bar. You know what the worst part is? The guilt. You feel guilty for not being over it yet. You feel guilty for the bad days. You feel guilty when something random sets you off and you're angry at yourself for still caring. Like, why does it still matter? Why do I still feel like this? I had a breakdown in my bedroom at 2 a.m. last week, just sitting there on my floor crying. You know why? I found an old receipt in my purse from a restaurant we went to. A receipt, a piece of paper I was about to throw away. And it wrecked me for an hour. The thing is, you start to not trust yourself. You're scared to do anything because you don't know what's going to hurt. I was terrified to go to this party last month because I didn't know if something there would trigger me, and I'd have to leave and everyone would know. I did go, by the way. And I was fine. Had a good time, actually. But driving home, a beer commercial came on the radio. He used to drink that brand. And I had to pull over. Sat on the side of the road just crying. At midnight, over a beer commercial. You feel insane. You really do. Because how do you explain to someone that you're doing okay, but also you might fall apart at any second? How do you make plans when you don't know if you'll be emotionally stable enough to follow through? I canceled on my friends twice because I was having a bad day and couldn't predict if I'd be okay by evening. And they were understanding, but I could tell they were confused. From the outside, it looks like you should be fine by now. It's been months. You seem okay most of the time, but they don't see the private breakdowns, the ones that happen when you're alone. In your car, in your apartment, in the shower, at the grocery store, at the bank, at the gym, in the elevator, in random places you never expected. I broke down at the post office last month. The post office. I was mailing something and the guy behind the counter asked if I was okay and I just wasn't. Had to leave without sending my package. And you can't explain it to people who haven't been through it. They mean well. They really do. They tell you to stay positive. Focus on yourself. Think about the future. And you want to scream because you are doing all of that. You're trying so hard. But it doesn't stop the random waves of grief that hit you out of nowhere. Some days I wake up and feel strong. I'm like, okay, I got this. Today's gonna be good. I'm moving forward. And then I'm brushing my teeth, and I remember he used to sing in the shower, and I'm crying with toothpaste in my mouth. How do you prepare for that? You don't. That's the answer. You can't. I've had to develop this whole system. I keep tissues in my car, in my purse, in my desk at work, in every room of my apartment. Because I never know when it's coming. I've learned which bathroom stalls at work are the most private. I know which parking spots are best for crying without people seeing. I have a playlist ready for when I need to cry it out in my car. That sounds pathetic, right? But it's survival. You adapt. You figure out how to handle the ambushes. Last week, I actually laughed about it. I was at the pharmacy picking up allergy medicine, of all things, and I got emotional because we used to go to the pharmacy together when one of us was sick. I stood there in the aisle thinking, are you kidding me right now? The pharmacy? And I just had to laugh at myself because otherwise I'd lose it. But here's what I'm starting to understand. And this is what I wish someone had told me from the beginning. This is normal. The random crying. The unexpected triggers. The good days followed by terrible days. All of it. It's not a sign that you're weak or broken or doing it wrong. It's just what healing actually looks like. Because grief isn't logical. It doesn't follow a schedule. It doesn't care that you have plans or that you're at work or that you're in public. It shows up whenever it wants. And the sooner you accept that, the easier it gets. Not easy, but easier. I'm not going to lie to you and say I'm fine now. I'm not going to tell you I never cry anymore, or that I've completely moved on. That would be garbage. Last night I got teary at a coffee shop because they were playing jazz music and we used to listen to jazz together on Sunday mornings. But you know what? I stayed. I didn't run out. I sat there, felt the feeling, let myself be sad for a minute, and then I kept drinking my coffee. That's progress. Not the pretty kind you see in movies. The real kind. Some days are still bad. Yesterday was hard. This morning I woke up feeling heavy. But I got out of bed. I went to work. I made it through. And if I cry on the way home, so what? That's just part of it now. Do I still check his social media sometimes? Yeah, not gonna lie about that. Did I almost text him last week? Absolutely. I typed out a whole message and then deleted it. I'm not gonna pretend I'm some perfectly healed person who never thinks about him. That's not real life. Real life is messy. Real life is crying at the gas station and then laughing at yourself 5 minutes later. Real life is having a great day and then falling apart over something stupid and random. Real life is healing in this weird zigzag pattern that makes no sense. And if you're going through this right now, if you're having those random breakdown moments and feeling crazy about it, I need you to hear this. You're not crazy. You're not weak. You're not doing it wrong. This is just what it looks like. The real version. Not the movie version. You're gonna cry in weird places. You're gonna get triggered by random stuff. You're gonna have setbacks. You're gonna have days where you think you're fine and then boom, you're not. And that's okay. That doesn't mean you're not healing. It just means you're human. I'm not gonna tell you it gets easier. I'm gonna tell you it gets different. You learn to ride the waves instead of fighting them. You learn to let yourself feel it without judging yourself. You learn that crying in your car doesn't mean you're broken. It just means you're processing. And slowly, so slowly you barely notice, the ambushes get less frequent. They still happen. They probably always will. But there's more space between them. More good moments. More regular moments where you're just living your life without thinking about it. Yesterday I made it through an entire day without crying. One day. That's huge for me. A month ago I couldn't go 2 hours. So yeah, maybe that's progress. Maybe that's what healing actually is. Not the absence of pain, but more space between the painful moments. I still have tissues in my car. I still know where the private bathroom stalls are. I'm still careful about certain triggers, but I'm also laughing more, sleeping better, having moments where I feel like myself again. It's not linear, it's not clean, it's not pretty, but it's real. And if you're in it right now, just know that those random crying moments don't mean you're failing. They mean you're human. They mean you loved someone and that mattered. And now you're learning to carry that in a different way. Will I cry tomorrow? Maybe. Probably. Over something random and unexpected. And you know what? That's okay. I'll cry, I'll feel it, and then I'll keep going. Because that's what we do. We feel it all, and we keep going anyway. That's the truth nobody tells you about breakups. It's not about reaching some finish line where you're completely over it. It's about learning to live with the waves. Learning to be okay with not being okay sometimes. Learning that healing isn't pretty or predictable, but it's happening anyway. So if you're reading this from your car right now because you just had a breakdown at the drugstore, I see you. If you're hiding in the bathroom at work trying to pull yourself together, I've been there. If you canceled plans because you're having a bad day and couldn't trust yourself to hold it together, I get it. You're not alone in this. And you're not doing it wrong. This is just what it looks like when you're actually healing instead of pretending to be healed. Some days are gonna suck. Some days are gonna be okay. Some days are gonna be surprisingly good, and then you'll cry at the bank for no reason and think you're back at square one. But you're not. You're just healing in the messy, real way that actual humans heal. And that's enough. You're enough. Even on the days when you fall apart in random places. Especially on those days. Keep going. Feel the feelings. Cry in your car. And then tomorrow, try again. That's all any of us can do. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe for more honest breakup stories. And remember, you're stronger than you know. Bye.